think that's what, I've owned a lot of Ethereum since they started doing smart contracts for, over 3 years, whatever it's been. Maybe I don't know all the dates but anyways. But yeah, so, I think Ethereum right now has an advantage over Bitcoin in terms of regular people, not as a store of value and transactional, because as more people get into NFTs, all they're going to know is Ethereum. And they're all going to have to buy Ethereum in order to do it, right?
Okay, so you think Ether has an advantage over Bitcoin as a store of value?
Right now, for new people coming in, yes. I own more ETH in terms of just number of ETH. I own more in dollar in Bitcoin, but that's changing as I'll wait for a little pullback on Ethereum since it's had a run up. If I'm going to buy new stuff, that's probably a better way to answer it. I'd buy Ethereum on a pullback before I buy Bitcoin. And so when Bitcoin pulled back to 30,000, I didn't buy more. When Ethereum pulled back to 1,000, I did buy more.
Ethereum over Bitcoin. In this recent Mark Cuban interview, Cuban gives an Ethereum prediction that it will outperform Bitcoin this cycle. Now, this is hugely interesting coming from Mark, as in the past he hasn't always been a keen fan of Bitcoin, Ethereum, or cryptocurrencies in general. Take a look at this clip.
I see gold and Bitcoin as being the same thing. I hate gold. Gold is a religion. There's some fundamental value to gold, but everything else, it's a collectible. I see. As an investment, okay, you're right. Hate is not strong enough. Hate with extreme prejudice as an investment.
Oh gosh. Okay, so Bitcoin and gold on the same level for you.
They're both collectibles.
Okay.
The value is based off of supply and demand. Let me say it one more time. Hate with extreme prejudice is not enough. Hate with double extreme prejudice with an ounce of hot sauce.
Where does this hate?
If you're a true adventurer and you really want to throw the Hail Mary, you might take 10% and put it in Bitcoin or Ethereum. But if you do that, you've got to pretend you've already lost your money.
So there you can see there's been a huge 180 in his sentiment towards cryptocurrency. Now, despite having differing stances historically than Cuban, I'm actually a fan of Mark, and I think it takes a big man to step back and think, hold on, maybe I missed something here with Bitcoin and Ethereum. We saw it happen to Ray Dalio, and now we are seeing it unfold with Mark Cuban. Here he explains why he is so bullish on Ethereum in the near term and why he thinks it will outperform. Also, stick around to the end for 2 reasons I would be very bullish on Ethereum in the short term, as well as to see exactly what is in Mark Cuban's crypto portfolio. Finally, only a tiny percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you enjoy the video, consider subscribing and liking the video. It helps out the channel so much and it allows me to do what I love in putting out finance and crypto related content. Enjoy the video, guys, and thank you so much for the recent support for the channel.
Wow. Okay. So you think Ether has an advantage over Bitcoin as a store of value?
Right now, for new people coming in, yes.
Wow.
Because Jen, here's my logic, and I know everybody's going to bitch at me, right? So if I decide I like digital art, how do I buy digital art?
With Ether.
Yeah. And if there's thousands of people a day, 2,000 people a day coming in, relative to the size of the number of people doing this, right? That's impactful, because every now and then one of them is going to be a whale and they're going to buy 1,000 Ether, right? And because they want to go out there and be able to buy that big artwork. And then on top of that, you're going to start to see music and entertainment videos and movies, for that matter, posted on OpenSea or Rarible or wherever, right? Because that's a better way to sell it. And what are they going to see? And what are they going to have to do if they want to do their own store? They're going to have to spend their $500 or $600 in Ethereum, right? Half an ETH just to be able to play the game. There's nothing in this ecosystem that says you have to buy Bitcoin first in order to transact or do something within DeFi or within any of the digital goods marketplace, right?
Yep. Yeah. So you think that means you think that NFTs and digital collectibles, digital goods will be the way to bring in like more people into crypto.
Yeah, now, what Dapper and Grow are doing with NBA Top Shots, that's, kind of a unique environment, and that's bringing people in, but that's getting them excited about digital goods. There are moments there, right? And so, I buy all the moments for Dallas Mavericks, at least so I have one for every player on the Dallas Mavericks that's available, right? Just so I can learn it. And, so you go to Crypto Slam and you get to see the number of customers and you get to see the number of users, and you see that number creeping up. And those people are becoming more and more comfortable with buying and selling digital goods. And look, NBA Top Shot's going through a whole lot of grief right now, just in terms of being able to keep up with the volume. And a lot of them are, right? Because blockchain doesn't scale great for some of these applications in terms of the user interface and the UX. But most people coming in right now fall into two categories. Store value, I want to make some money, Bitcoin, right? So if you're investor first, Bitcoin. But everybody else, collectors, why would they buy Bitcoin?
Right. And about like collectibles.
Look, I'm still learning this, right? You got to tell me if I'm right, or if you think I'm right or wrong.
Oh, okay. No, I think you're right. I mean, just to be able to be involved in DeFi, NFTs, digital art, digital collectibles of any kind, I'd say, 99% or a large majority of all that activity is happening on Ethereum. I know that there are other blockchains trying to capture some of that market share with NFTs, like Flow, I think, is doing a lot on NFTs. But I mean,
Flow, yeah, I call it Grow. But yeah. Sorry.
So no, that's absolutely the case, and I think there's kind of a solid narrative. You talk about narrative around kind of Bitcoin as a store of value and digital gold, and I think that's not going anywhere. But because it has that kind of one simple as it by design architecture, that it just can't be that layer for decentralized finance.
No, I get that, right? I mean, when you pick the block size of 1 megabit or whatever it was, and there's, and now, that's the whole reason behind, what is it, Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin SV, whatever it is, right? That's designed to do transactions. It made its bed to be a store of value, and the algorithmic scarcity is a great selling tool. It's a great narrative, and that's not going away. And I can see the argument being made for people to put it in their treasury and to use it as an alternative, and that's good. But for those, part of the problem is for those people who want to yield farm, trying to go through the process of going into wrapped Bitcoin, right, and making that swap.
Yeah,
you got to hope that that the people behind wrapped Bitcoin are doing their job to make sure that it tracks exactly right. And there's some risk associated with that. Yeah. And it's just complex and hard to do. I mean, not hard to do.
There's no reason to go and wrap your Bitcoin if you can just directly do it with ETH.
Yes.
Yeah.
Period, end of story.
Yeah.
Period, end of story.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to ask you about digital collectibles, because I saw this blog post that you wrote, which I thought was great, and where you talk about how you collected stamps as a kid, and that helped you see kind of the value of NFTs now. So can you talk about that?
So yeah, I wrote the blog post on blogmaverick.com. And what I said was, when I collected stamps, I started out just because my mom got me involved with it. And it was cool, right? You learn history. And then all of a sudden I would go to stamp shows and I realized the inefficiencies of the market. Like literally I could start at one end of a stamp show and buy a stamp for 50 cents because that stamp dealer valued it at this grading, right? And then walk down the hall and that a different dealer would value it at a higher grading and it was worth 100 times as much. But what I learned that's applicable is, one, you have to deal with grading, right? Is it, what's the quality of the stamp? You have to deal with protecting it, right? Because if my little brother's got a hold of it, it's over, right? You have to deal with physically selling it and transporting it, right? And then you have to deal with buying and selling it, the actual, transaction. That's a whole lot of pain points that could go wrong, particularly the physical side. They tear, they this, they that, right? And then when NBA Top Shots came along, I initially was, that's ridiculous.